Hi guys, welcome back to Bitesize Excel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at pivot tables and using slicers. Now, slicers were introduced in Excel 2010, and they're basically visual filters or interactive buttons that can help you view your data in a slightly different way. So in today's video, we're going to use a very simple example. I have a table here which has 163 sites in it. And it's got a number of different columns which cover short-term, medium-term and long-term actions for each of the sites. Now, if you wanted to insert a pivot table to view this data, you would select anywhere in your table, go to Insert, Pivot Table, and pick where you want it. Now, I've already created the pivot table here in this second tab. And if you wanted to view this data, if I clicked on Site and then started selecting my actions, you'll note that it comes up in a slightly confusing way, even if you were to use your site as a filter and start picking your site, it still doesn't really give it in a really usable format. So one way to get around this is to use your pivot table slicers. So if we uncheck all these, and I'll just clear the filter from here, set it back to all sites. To insert a slicer, we come back to this Insert tab and come over to this Filters and select this Slicer button. And what you can do is you can pick the fields that you want to include within your slicer. Now in this instance, I want to be able to look at my site, so I'm going to leave that as a filter. And I want to be able to see what actions are relevant to each site. So I'm going to select each of the actions and click OK. And what you'll get is you'll get these little boxes put in, which are your slicer boxes. So if we select all those, this new slicer tab appears. We can resize these. So let's say I want it to be 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. I'm going to start moving them so that they are where I want to have them. In fact, if you select them all and go back to slicer and align, we can align them all to the top. And then we can distribute them horizontally. Now I need a little bit more space here, so if I unselect those and then select all my boxes again, align, distribute horizontally, they're now all spread out. Now what I can do now is if I pick one of my sites, so say just pick site 1 and click OK, what it will do is it will give me a list of actions that are only relevant to that site, and the other ones are all grayed out. Now if you don't want to see the other ones at all, what you can do is you can go to Slicer Settings and Hide Items with No Data. Click OK, and you'll see that those have all disappeared. So now I can select any site, so I want to see site 50, and it'll give me a list that's relevant just to those. Now if you're having a play around with slicers, you want to create some sort of interactive dashboard, there are a number of tricks you can do to improve how it looks. So if we were to select our slicers here on our slicer tab, there's a number of different options in terms of the style. You can also group your slices together so that their particular ones are always grouped and easy to move around together. But depending on what you want to do, you can find a number of different options in here about aligning, resizing, and styles that can help you visually improve the look of your dashboard. Now the other use for slicers is they can act as a slightly more dynamic way of filtering your data. So if we click in here, go to Insert our slicer and click our short-term actions, what we'll get is a list of short-term actions, and we can click on any one of those and it will give us the sites that that one is related to. Equally, if we were to select multiple ones, it would give us the sites that those 3 actions were relevant to. Obviously, depending on your data set, this can be quite useful. You can also use multiple slicers to filter by multiple values. So this has just been a very short introduction to slicers, how you insert them with your pivot table, and some of the different uses for them. If you've got any specific questions, please do leave me a comment. I hope you've found this introduction video useful. Remember to like and subscribe, and I do look forward to seeing you in a future video.